Welcome to the Bet More Sports Podcast. My name's Avery Fuller. I'll be your host with my co-host Stephen Trotman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
And we are coming at you once again from Norfolk, Virginia at the Bet More Sports Studios. It's been a great week in sports. But before we start, I just want to send some condolences and heartfelt prayers to the families of the 19 kids and 2 adults that lost their lives this week with another senseless, violent problem that we got going on in this world. And prayers to them. Outside of that, let's get the show started. One of the biggest questions that I came up and thought of when I was watching ESPN and Steve Kerr was in an interview, and he was just speaking of how tired he is of all of the senseless nonsense. Well, let's take a look.
We're going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this, to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, you know. Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
So with that said, this was before a game. Guru, do you think that players should be held to the same expectations when this type of stuff happens, and they have a social responsibility as well as the responsibility of their job to perform at a high level? You think they should be required to, or the expectation should be the same, or you think something should change in that regard?
Honestly, it's something is going to change because they're human, you know, and if they pay close enough attention to the situation, then it will affect them, you know, on the court. So I seen a lot of baseball players, because a lot of baseball players of Spanish descent, and a lot of baseball players were hurt by the situation. I seen players have game-winning walk-off hits, and that was the first thing that they referred to, was those who tragically lost their lives because you send children to school to get an education. It's supposed to be like their safest place.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree.
you don't expect to send your child to school and them not come home
Right.
from something cowardly, such as a gunman going in and deciding to take the lives of little children.
And it's
So it's going to affect them, but me personally, I feel like it would be almost inhumane of me to say that I expect them to still perform at the highest level, even though I do, because they have a job,
right.
right? And your job is to perform at the highest level. And it must be a difficult task to at times dehumanize yourself and shut yourself off from the world. That's why I don't really get caught up in the news and things of that nature, because I don't like things to negatively cloud my way of thinking.
Right. I understand. It's strange because something as simple as gun control can help prevent things like this. And while it's not meant to prevent it from happening ever, it can definitely dumb down the level at which it happens. At this point, we're halfway through 2022, and we have 212 mass shootings in 2022 alone. And if that's not a gun control problem, I don't know what is. So, again, it's a lot of players that's speaking out, that's looking to find the best way of handling and dealing with these type of issues. Gun control is the first step. It's not the only step. It's definitely the first. And I feel like that those Republicans or people that are not trying to do anything but have the power to do so, they should be held accountable, in my opinion. So that's something to look forward or look into in general. So, but again, condolences to those families, man, because I couldn't imagine as a father what it'd be like to send my kid to school and my kid don't come home no more. And I got to look at my kid's empty bedroom every day, and deal with my other kids not seeing their siblings every day. So, it's a tough pill to swallow. So let's keep moving. In college football, we had some stuff take place in the last week where Nick Saban was pretty much talking out the side of his neck. In case you don't know, take a look.
Of money to get players, and you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. Yep. So it's tough, and people blame the NCAA. But in defense of the NCAA, we are where we are. All right, because of the litigation that the NCAA gets, like the transfer portal. Every time somebody wanted to transfer, they'd apply for a waiver. All right, if the NCAA didn't give them a waiver so they could be immediately eligible, they filed suit. So the NCAA would back off and give them a waiver. So they just said, we're just going to make a rule where everybody can transfer. That's how that happened. So if the NCAA doesn't get some protection from litigation, whether we got to get an antitrust or whatever it is, from a federal government standpoint, this is not going to change because they cannot enforce their rules, just like Nate said. We have a rule right now that says you cannot use name, image, and likeness to entice a player to come to your school. Hell, read about it in the paper. I mean, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to the school. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it. I mean, these guys at Miami that are going to play basketball there for $400,000, it's in the newspaper. The guy tells you how he's doing it. So, but the NCAA can't enforce their rules because it's not against the law. And that's an issue. That's a problem. And unless we get something that protects them from litigation, I don't know what we're going to do about it.
Man, that was crazy just kind of hearing Nick Saban say what he had to say in that regard, especially the caliber coach that he is. What you think about what he said in general?
I think Nick about to dig his own grave honestly, because Alabama, from my understanding, has been doing this before the NIL became legal. Like Nick been NIL before NIL. So I think he about to dig his own grave. I think what he was really doing, from what it sounded like to me, is it sounded like he was asking his boosters for money.
Right. Put more money in there so we can.
Right. He's telling you the system. He's telling you the plan, and this how you do it. They go to the boosters. They say, "Hey, put this money in the pot so we can know how much money we can get the players." Nick been losing players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just lost the national championship. So Nick basically is asking to get his pot filled up like everybody else's pot is being filled up.
It's weird to hear the coach of Alabama mention Jackson State. You know, it's like.
But see, you got to understand the recruit that Travis Hunter was. You know, when you get a 5-star recruit to commit to an HBCU, it upsets people.
It's crazy because it's not like he just going anywhere. He going to play with the greatest defensive back in history.
I agree. And sometimes you want to be a trendsetter. See, that's what Nick don't understand about, people of Asiatic descent. Sometimes we just want to set trends. We don't care because I feel like I'm good enough to go to the NFL from anywhere.
Yeah.
And why not learn from the best that ever did it?
And didn't they get one of Norfolk's own, K-Tron, to come? He was ranked, 17th in the country?
Yeah, he was a 4-star, 5-star recruit himself. But he kind of, I think he decommitted from a D1 school prior
Tennessee.
Prior to all of the NIL hoopla.
Well, it was other coaches that had some things to say. Let's take a look.
Tonight in Alabama?
Yes, I would. First of all, I'll say it's a shame that we have to do this. It's really despicable. It's despicable that somebody can say things about somebody and an organization. More importantly, 17-year-old kids. You're taking shots at 17-year-old kids and their families. That they broke state laws. They're all money. We bought every player on this group. We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong. It was all and the way we do things, the ethics in which we do things. And these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen. And it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families in Texas A&M because we do things right. We're always going to do things right. But we're always going to be here. We're doing a heck of a job. These coaches have done a great job. Our players have done a great job. The whole organization of recruiting people. It's despicable that we got to sit here at this level of ball and say these things to defend the people of this organization, the kids, 17-year-old kids and their families. It's amazing. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable. It really is. And it's a shame we have to sit up here and have this conversation about things we do. And it's personal to us? Yes, it is. It's personal to A&M. It's personal to our players. It's personal to our coaches and everybody involved. And I know the guy. Know him really well. It's amazing that we're allowed to do those things. It's really despicable. And I hate it. For our players who are coming here, who did things the right way, have done things the right way, and will continue to do things the right way, I apologize to you that people insult you publicly the way they're doing it. And our fans, I apologize to you guys for people saying those things about Texas A&M. I promise you this, there are no violations. There are nothing wrong. It's the second time we've had to do this with grown men who don't get their way and want to pout, throw a fit, and act up. Just go ask all the people who work for him. You'll know exactly what he's about. I always said this. My dad always told me this. When people show you who they are, believe them. He's showing you who he is.
Questions? To the left, Olin.
A couple of things, Jimbo. First of all, have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And
He shows you who he is.
and then I just wanted to.
He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted.
You
to
got all the advantages? It's easy.
And I just wanted to just put it point blank. So no players in you're saying that no players in
There's
the
no bylaws of
received any
anything we
money
ever
or-
promised, done anything that goes against the laws of the state of Texas, and it's insulting to say a 17-year-old and his family broke laws. No.
Down front, Brent.
Y'all have both spoken so highly of each other in the past in terms of what y'all have done in your previous relationship. So how disappointing was it to hear that from him, in terms of, a mentor type to you
It's
as well?
disappointing. No, it wasn't. No, listen, you coach with people like Bobby Bowden and learn how to do things. You coach with other people and learn how not to do things. There's a reason people.
Man, that was Jimbo Fisher that said that. That he said a lot. But he wasn't the only person. We got another person. Take a look.
Cody, as you like to be called. Let's go ahead and get into it. Nick Saban came out, had some choice words saying that the Jackson State program paid $1 million to get a recruit there, talking about Travis Hunter. What is your response to that?
Well, first of all, we don't have $1 million. If you've been to Jackson State, if you understand how the program works, you understand there's a deficit not only in our program, but every program. And we're trying to close that deficit right now. We're doing a darn good job of it. Last year, we raised $30 million for the city of Jackson alone. That's what they told us. So I'm pretty sure it was probably about 40 because they ain't tell us about 10 million of it. So we're doing a great job in what we're accomplishing in Jackson State. And we're changing the whole paradigm of HBCU football. And we're trying to be the catalyst and the model for all HBCUs on how to do business on the field, off the field. In the boardrooms, as well as all facets, even attracting these Fortune 500 companies to come into the realm and help us tremendously. But $1 million, I would never do that if we even had it, because that would destroy the fabric of our team. That would destroy all of my thought process and how I teach work, reward, work, reward. I teach work. You paying kids millions of dollars in college, how are they still hungry? I mean, how are they still hungry? How you pay a kid more than you pay coaches in college?
So
and
Coach,
now you're risking. I'm sorry, let me finish the statement. You're risking that line
integrity
in of college football. Let me tell you what I mean by that. The media don't attack college players like they attack pro players. They don't do it because you're still an amateur. And they don't say certain things. You never see them blast a college quarterback or someone who, you never see that. When these guys start getting paid and you're making more than the reporters that's reporting and some of your coaches, that opens you up for scrutiny, man. These kids ain't built like that. They're not ready for that mentally and emotionally and psychologically. They ain't ready for that, man. And we're opening the can that they're not ready to minister to.
Right. So Coach Evan, we're going to bring our producer Evan in shortly. I know he has a couple questions as well, but before we get to Evan and Brandon Flowers is on the show, and we got Leger Duzabor, our host of I Am Athlete Tonight. Look,
Man, so that was Deion's take on it, and he called these guys out personally. I mean, not by name, but by team. And, to hear a coach like Nick Saban, who arguably could be one of the greatest, or is possibly the greatest coach in college of all time, to hear him say that, and it looked as if he is jealous. How does that work? Like, Deion is a new coach.
Right.
And Deion is making revolutionary changes to historically black college football.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when that type of stuff is happening, how is it that somebody find a problem with it or assume the worst no matter what?
And he attacked Deion, then, that's his Aflac buddy.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And
Deion asked him how to get one of them jackets. It's terrible, man. I just it's messed up, and I feel bad for the players because now people is assuming that this man got $1 million, and my man came on TV and say $1 million. Then why my mama still got a 3-bedroom house with 5 people living in it?
But you do remember when he signed, they did kind of put out there that he did have $1 million deal.
He said that he had a NIL deal, but it's not $1 million.
That's not what they originally put out, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
The same way they put out the quarterback for Alabama had $1 million NIL deal before he ever took a snap in college football.
Right. I heard that for sure, but I ain't heard about Travis Hunter.
Well, they did have that out. I don't know how true it was, but that was out when he first signed with Jackson State over Florida State. But the way he made it seem was like Deion went in his pocket and gave him $1 million of his money, which Deion made sure that they understood that wasn't the case. Deion said, "Shit, my contract not even worth $1 million. You think I'm gonna give somebody $1 million and I ain't even getting paid $1 million?" But I think Nick kind of barked up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
Or trees. That's why he tried to backtrack and say that he didn't mean to call them guys out personally. And if you studied the whole situation, you would see that Nick said that what Deion said, and both Deion and Jimbo said that Nick tried to contact them, and both of them kind of ignored him, sent them straight to voicemail. Deion said, you attacked me publicly.
Right.
So let's talk about it publicly. Don't talk about it privately.
Don't call me. Exactly. Right. You go out there to that press conference and you apologize the way you're trying to do now. You know, I get that, because guess what? You can't. That's like you going out in public and smacking me in my face,
right? And
then coming to my house and apologizing, and now we square, and I got to go out there and tell everybody we good because we worked it out behind closed doors. No,
or coming to my house and telling me to smack you back. No, let me smack you back on camera like
exactly.
You smacked me.
Exactly.
And Jimbo worked under Nick Saban for years at Alabama.
I wouldn't even understand why he would do that to Jimbo.
Because Jimbo beat him last year.
As he should have. He just he outcoached him. I mean, but he should take that as a plus in some way, because that means that I did a good job on you.
Well, I think Jimbo is the first coach to actually beat Nick Saban, one of his former coaches. I think he was like undefeated against every coach that ever coached under him.
Well, if that's the case, then he started a losing streak, because didn't Kirby end up beating him in the national championship? Kirby Smart.
That was his first time beating him.
You know what I'm saying? So,
no, was that? No. Did Kirby beat him before? I think that was his first time.
That was his first time beating him, right. Yeah. So, man, Nick Saban got a lot to learn, though, especially you would think that a person or a coach of his magnitude would know better. But he definitely put himself in a tough position, and he
sounded
looked real
like
stupid.
A baby. Like Jimbo said, he sounded like a baby that didn't get his way.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that by far. Okay, so let's keep moving. The Mavs finally won a game. If you look back at some of the footage, I said that Golden State would win in 5. That's the way it's trending. That's the way I believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Golden State's going to win in 5. And, again, Dallas really didn't belong there, but, you know, they earned their role, or they earned that win against the Suns. But everything
Campaign say the Suns was hurt.
Yeah. Campaign was he was eating ice cream. But so all right, so I got Golden State closing out 4-1, but we still got the Celtics and the Heat, and that's probably the series that's gonna go the furthest. Who you got in that series?
I think Boston has the best players in that series, but I still think Miami has the better team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how it's going to play out. It's a fun series to watch, though. Kind of the back and forth throws me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, one day we got a competitive game, next day we got a blowout. So it's kind of confusing at times that you could compete at the highest level, then the next game you just lay an egg.
It's weird. Like, so how do you think players like Tyler Herro being absent and Marcus Smart being absent, how do you think those players are going to impact how the series go?
Again, Boston is relying upon a budding superstar.
Right.
And Jaylen Brown is definitely no scrub. He's not on the level of Jason Tatum, but he's out to prove that he is.
Mm-hmm.
While Jimmy Butler is Miami's biggest star, and they have a bunch of good quality role players. Miami's just deep.
Right.
But Boston got guys that they can go to that can get buckets with Marcus Smart absent.
Okay. So how you think it's going to impact, Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year, how you think it's going to impact the defensive side of the ball? You think that it's going to put them in a better position to score more for the Heat? You know what I'm saying? Like, Marcus Smart is substantial on the defensive side of the ball. And one thing I saw in game 4 is they were shut down. Like, the Heat was shut down. They was
Right,
down.
and Marcus Smart didn't play.
Okay,
And they
then-
blew the Heat out.
Yeah, I guess when you think about it, yeah, they.
Because
Then-
collectively, Boston can play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami is a good defensive team as well. So it's kind of like whoever star decides that they want to play basketball on that day. Because I seen a game where Jason Tatum had 10 points. Then I seen games where he had 30-plus points. So it's like whichever day, I seen games where Jimmy Butler have 40 points, and I seen games where he lay an egg. So it's like whoever star wants to come and play that day generally wins the game in this series.
All I can say is Kobe would never.
Rest in peace, Kobe. The man gonna keep shouting your name out every chance he get.
Every chance I can. Straight up. All right, so I want to share with y'all what I feel like is the play of the playoffs. Take a look.
Brunson defends, snaps it outside to Wiggins. Goes by Bullock. Drops the sledgehammer.
Successful challenge by Steve Kerr and the Warriors. It's not an offensive foul on Andrew Wiggins, nor is it a defensive foul on Luka Doncic, but it is a good bucket and poster by Andrew Wiggins.
Challenge successful, and Wiggins has his third career playoff double-double.
Then he tried to sell it. You can't sell that. You just dunked on. I don't even know if I think Andrew Wiggins still had that in him.
I don't know if Luka thought that he still had it in him.
Clearly. Because, boy, Luka ain't got no bunnies, as he said.
I like what Luka said after the game, though.
Hey, yeah,
that was respect.
Hell of respect.
Because a lot of people are trying to downplay it. Luka said, damn, that was, as I looked at it again, that was nice.
He said that was impressive.
I wish I had those bunnies.
If he had those bunnies, bro, he'll be the GOAT.
If Luka had those bunnies, he would be arguably the greatest player I've ever seen. If he had any explosiveness, he would be unstoppable.
Literally.
He's unstoppable now, but he would be literally like, I can get a bucket whenever I want.
Yep. His explosion is his Achilles heel. That's the weakest part of his game, and his game is not weak.
And his speed is kind of, everything is slow about Luka.
Right.
Same with the Joker, man. Them guys' games are slow, but it's effective.
Man. So, James Harden is seeking a max contract. But in the process of him seeking a max contract, my man said out loud that he took a 2-year offensive hiatus. And that next year he'll be back. How is this possible, Guru?
You still got that picture?
I do. I don't. Oh, you talking about that picture? Yeah, bruh. I'm telling you that. Yeah, maybe he was on some lines or something. Let me not say that out loud again.
No. We need a disclaimer. He was not on the lines.
Harden, I don't know if he's on the line. So don't take what I say on the lines. But I feel like, well, number one, why on planet Earth would you say that?
Because it's documented. We can see that.
Right, but my thing is, you've been getting paid $40 million a year, and you decide to take an offensive hiatus for 2.
He didn't decide to. It just happened.
Right, but based on what he's saying like he chose to do this.
Yeah, I would too.
That
If I can say, well, next year I'll be back to the James Harden, so you should pay me.
that don't make him look like that. That'll make me feel like, bro, you literally took a hiatus while we paying you. Why would I want to pay you now? You know what I'm saying? Like you need to show what you worth, and you won't show what you worth in that regard.
I think what he was saying is that, he has shown that he can dominate the league scoring in basketball.
Not in the last 2 years.
Yeah, right. No, what I'm saying is he was trying to show you that he can dominate the league scoring in basketball, so he wanted to show you that he can defer to a Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving and a Joel Embiid.
Is that what you want to see from James Harden?
No, so now he's saying that I'm going to get back to the James Harden of old, so you should kick me that bread.
And the one thing that you learn as a kid growing up, more than anything in this world, that has been told to us, no matter what we say, actions speak louder than words. And we can say whatever we want. And he can say that all day. But the only thing that we got to base off of is his actions, and his actions indicate otherwise.
You might be saying that people had the handcuffs on him.
He can say that all day, but again, who can put handcuffs on him and he getting paid $40 million a year?
I don't know.
That makes zero sense. And that's definitely not going to make me feel like, well, okay, since you said that you had a hiatus, I'm going to go ahead and give you this max contract. Nah, bro, I'm going to give you a 1-year deal.
That's what I say you deserve anyway.
Because it to me, it just don't make sense. That's unfair to your teammates. Like, think about Joel Embiid and everything he put into the playoffs. And James Harden took a hiatus and decided I ain't going to shoot the ball but twice in the second half.
How many times do Joel Embiid got to lose before he realized that you don't got a crowd after every big loss, Joel? Like, you know what I mean? It's okay to lose and go ahead home. It's like, you should be used to it by now.
I almost think Joel want to have, like, the crying man. Like, he want to be the king of the crying man. My man just want to cry.
After every big loss, like, you do the same thing.
He got the weirdest crying face, too. It's horrible.
He got the little kid that didn't get nothing for Christmas because he was on punishment.
Oh, my God.
Crying face.
Ain't doing what you're supposed to do in school, I'm on it. All right, so the NBA released a all NBA team, and man, it's extremely controversial. From my perspective, I feel like it's a ton of people who could have been in that first team, man. And in my opinion, I feel like the first team, number one, is crazy. It's unnecessary. It's a couple of players up there that I feel like shouldn't have been up there. So let's take a look at the All NBA team. So the All NBA first team consisted of Luka, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Joker. Truthfully, I feel like that's just a crock of shit.
So who do you take off?
I take off Devin Booker and Luka and Jason Tatum, and I'll replace them with LeBron, Joel Embiid.
Well, you can't put Joel Embiid on the first team because he plays the same position as.
That's the other thing. I don't believe that it should be.
It should be.
No, it shouldn't. And the reason why I feel like it shouldn't, because it's just based on who are the best players.
No, it's based on position. It's always been based on position.
It shouldn't be. That's the whole point.
Okay, now that's a totally different argument.
Absolutely. It's just one of those things. Don't get me wrong. Because it's based on position, it forced the runner-up for MVP of the NBA, and it could have went either way.
But I told you that. I told you that the man, it was sad that he couldn't even make first team because the person who won the MVP over him played the same position.
Yeah, and see, that's where, they could have put him at the 4.
No. I like it just like that. By position, yeah.
Nope.
Second team, Joel.
That's like saying that
he probably cried about that too.
I mean, crybabies are crybabies. He gonna cry when he need to cry.
But you put LeBron on the first team over who?
Over Jason Tatum.
Over Jason Tatum?
Absolutely. LeBron was literally second in the scoring in general. His impact is substantial. We were just talking about how Jason Tatum might have 10 points 1 minute and 30 points the next.
Well, what we didn't talk about is that the Lakers probably won like 30 games.
Yeah, but we suffer all types of injuries.
I don't want to hear it.
Injuries is a part of the game, but we suffer them. And I think
I don't think LeBron should be on the third team. Maybe second. I'm not going to argue with Jason Tatum. I will argue that I feel like Ja Morant should have made the first team
Ja
over
Morant should have been on the first
Devin
team.
Booker.
Absolutely.
I will say that.
You know, it's just weird just looking at it. And what you find is that I can tell you right now, and listen, I ain't got nothing against Karl Anthony Towns, but I feel like there are players that belong on this list over him.
At the center position?
No. At any position. That's the whole point. Like, if I got to put players that has contributed more to him and that has a bigger impact on the game than he do on the back burner because of the position that they play, that's where the problem lays.
But I don't really feel like it's a problem because that's the way a team is constructed.
Not necessarily.
Yes. Like in any sport.
Golden State by themselves, they don't got a center.
And they don't have a center on neither one of these teams, neither. My thing is on neither one of these all NBA teams.
What you mean they don't got a center? They got 3 centers.
No, I'm talking about Golden State don't have a center on neither one of these teams. But my thing is this. Like, this is for any sport, so that's why I say I like it the way it is because that's just like if we vote in the all MLB team, we're not going to vote 30 different, 9 different first basemen because they're the 9 best players in baseball. No, you're going to have a pitcher in every position. The same as football. You're going to have the best tackles, the best guards, center, quarterback, receivers, running backs, and on defense, et cetera, et cetera. So I like the setup. You just need to be the best at your position.
Let me ask you this question from a coaching perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the coach and you got these 15 players on your team, who is your starting 5? Who are you going to start the game with?
That's not a fair question because we're not basing that upon what they done this year.
No. We are basing it upon where you rank these players and how, as a team or whatever, in general, on the court, when you put these players on the floor, how would you put these players on the floor? Like, me personally, Joel Embiid would be a 4. Or Jokic would be a 4. But they would be on the court together. Because of their level of productivity and their ability to impact the game. At the end of the day, I don't give a damn if I got 5 centers. If one of them can handle the ball.
You're not going to get an argument out of me in that regard. However, it's set up by position. Now, the All-Star game used to be set up by position too, and they changed that. And you can kind of pick and choose. You don't have to pick a center. You know, so they changed that in that regard. So they can't change it for the All-NBA team.
Why they can't?
Because I don't want a center at power forward when I got power forwards who are deserving.
Listen, Guru.
I'm not putting Joel over Giannis.
I need you to understand that they not playing nobody. This is just based on the level at which. In other words, this is the top 15 players in the league. The top 15 players in the league should be the first, second, and third team.
And that's why we have arguments like this about who's been snubbed and who should have made it.
Absolutely.
And who should have not made it because of the fact that it's by position.
That's like saying, well, Steph Curry shouldn't be on the list because we needed another center, so we put another center on the list.
But like I said, that's why they changed it in the All-Star game because they wanted the best players to draw the biggest crowds instead of your best 4 centers and your best 4 power forwards, and you got to pick and choose through that. They just made it the best players overall according to the voters and the coaches. But we can't do that with the all NBA team.
I think that, like, because something that I realize is that just like everybody in the world of work, NBA players have a resume. You know what I'm saying? And to put Joel Embiid on a second team, in no way, shape, or form would I ever say he was a runner-up for MVP.
And he's the second best center in the league.
Literally. And I think it's just one of those things where sometimes you got to take a look at the way the system is working and understand that, we just got to be realistic. And the realistic aspect of the whole joint is we can't say, all right, we need to find 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. No, you find the best players. You put the best players on the court, or you put the best players together based on their performance. And again, I don't understand why Devin Booker's even on the first team.
Now that I do agree with. I feel like Josh should be on the first team.
Absolutely. Ja Morant has probably made the biggest impact on the NBA this entire season.
I agree.
And respect is something that should be required. I don't know why Luka there, but
that means you could flip-flop Luka and Steph. But I don't have an argument with Luka.
I think the biggest thing about Steph is his consistency. Steph is as consistent as it gets. And Steph has such the impact on his team. And don't get me wrong, I know Steph's team is well coached. But Steph is still Steph. And if Steph weren't there, his team wouldn't be as successful as they are. And don't get me wrong, I know Luka's the whole team in Dallas. But I don't feel like Luka should be in that position. He should be all NBA,
right?
But not first team.
So let me ask you this, right? Because you say that Steph is well coached. I heard people arguing that Steve Kerr is not a good coach.
They're just hating on Steve Kerr, in my opinion. And the reason why I said it is because, number one, any good coach, listen, people take it as because you got good players, you don't need a good coach. But Brooklyn has proven that to be wrong, clearly, right?
Right.
It's one of those things where Steve Kerr has been consistently a good coach. His team has been consistent with their success. And even now, they took a hiatus and came back, and they're still consistent. And right now, they are picked as favorites to win the NBA Finals again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that they had KD. They tried to say, oh, it ain't Steph, it's KD. Blah, 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 blah. It ain't them. They wouldn't have got the best player in the league and blah, blah, blah. Well, he ain't there now.
Right.
And all they did was pick up where they left off. You know, and so to me, I feel like one of the big things about that is coaching. For instance, when Steve Kerr was out, they went down in the game by 55.
New Sacramento Kings coach, man. Leave the brother alone, man. Leave the brother out of this.
My brother. Hey.
Leave the brother out of this, man. The brother did a hell of a job.
He did a hell of a job. 50. Look, all I know is, do you feel like that would have ever happened if Steve Kerr was there?
We're going to leave the brother out of this. But I feel like Steve Kerr is a phenomenal coach. And that's what I told the person that I was into it with, that I feel like Steve Kerr is a phenomenal coach. And they argued that, hey, that's Mark Jackson team. Mark Jackson built the team and this, that, and the third. And, you know, I'm all for it. However, Steve Kerr took what he was given and took what Mark Jackson had and won a championship multiple times. And he created a system that got the best out of players that were drafted by this team.
Right.
You know? So I take my hat off to Steve Kerr. I just wanted to hear your opinion on the whole situation, man. I feel like Steve Kerr is one of the greatest coaches I've ever seen.
Yep, absolutely. And he's patient. I think coaching takes patience. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of Steve Kerr from a coaching
I'm a huge fan.
So, you know, I and don't get me wrong, I'm a Laker fan, and my fingers are crossed.
We hear this every show.
My fingers are crossed that we consider Mark Jackson for that Laker job. because I feel like
Jackson gonna have the people at Bible study,
listen,
and they can't curse, and they gotta get up at 6 a.m. and
hey, at the end of the day, that's probably what they need.
yeah.
I'm just
At
saying.
the end of the day, that's what's gonna keep him away from the Lakers.
Everybody need a little bit of Jesus.
LeBron ain't going for it.
LeBron ain't going for it. Hey, all I know is listen. I got the Warriors as final champions.
Yeah,
NBA champs.
They the odds-on favorite.
Absolutely.
I like they are the favorites to win the championship, and I'm backing the favorites. They was my favorites anyway. If you've been following, they've been my favorites.
You're 100% on that. All right, so let's take a break. But coming up, we got some NFL. All types of stuff going on, including pictures of Debo and that.
Debo going to the Cowboys?
Hell to the no. We'll be back. Back more sports. Welcome back to the Bet More Sports Podcast. We are coming at you again from Norfolk, Virginia, in the Bet More Sports Studios. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Steven Trotman, babe, but you know him as
the Guru.
Yes, it's the Guru. And guess what? While we talked about NBA and we talked about some Nick Saban hating news, we still got NFL. And with that said, Colin Kaepernick was granted a workout with the Las Vegas Raiders. What you think, Guru?
This guy's back in the news.
Back in the news. I told you he was going to be there.
And you know what's crazy is that I honestly think the Raiders might give him a shot.
And I think they should. I wish it was us.
I don't think they should, but I think they will.
Listen, let me ask you this question. And this is a really awkward question. You are a Giants fan.
He's not better than Daniel Jones.
Oh, he's definitely better than Daniel Jones. But that's not the question.
Okay.
My question is, would you pick him or Jimmy G? Keep in mind, both of them been to the playoffs with the San Francisco. the Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers. If you had your
both
choice,
of them lost with the San Francisco 49ers.
You win some, you lose some. Somebody got to lose. That's just a part of the game. But
why didn't you lead with that?
What you mean?
Why didn't you say both of them lost with the?
Who do I got to tell that to? If you don't know that, you shouldn't be watching the show.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I might have forgot.
All I'm saying is, Colin Kaepernick was a pretty good player when he was playing with San Francisco, and Jimmy G is a pretty good player playing with San Francisco. So if you had your choice, your pick of the litter, who would you pick?
You do know Colin Kaepernick was like 1-11 in his last 12 games, right? So give me Jimmy G.
I don't think San Francisco had a 1-11 season. So to even talk about him being 1-11 in his last 12 games, I don't feel like that's accurate.
I could stand a fact check.
Hey, fact check me.
I could stand a fact check.
I would love the fact check.
But I believe that Jimmy, not Jimmy G, but
Jimmy G has won 70% of the
Kaepernick.
game. But I don't think Colin Kaepernick. I can't recall us having
took the starting position because remember when he did the whole kneel thing?
Mm-hmm.
He was a backup quarterback at the time.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not.
You're a San Francisco fan.
I am a San Francisco fan. And at the time that he took a knee, he was not a backup. In fact, at any point in which he was healthy, he was never a backup. I'm talking about after the Alex Smith era. Outside of that,
you do know when Colin.
Who was starting
you do know
over
that
Colin
when
Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
Mm-hmm.
He was a backup quarterback.
Who was he backing
at
up?
the time? I'm not a San Francisco fan. That's a question that you should know.
No, because he was not a backup. That's the whole point. Even then, Colin Kaepernick. Think about it. He had a $121 million contract. They're not going to put him on the bench.
benched.
No, him getting benched does not make him a backup because
that
he
makes
get benched.
him a backup.
No,
if he got benched and somebody was starting ahead of him,
no,
that makes him the backup quarterback.
Him getting benched might have been in the game, and then he came in the next game and started again.
No. At the time Colin Kaepernick took a knee, he was the backup quarterback. He had gotten benched, and after he took the
only
knee,
person Colin Kaepernick backed up is Alex Smith.
It's not true. But
100% fact.
You're a
49er fan.
That's what I'm saying. So at the time they took the knee, let me just say this.
Okay.
And you can fact check me, but I'm gonna say this. At the time he took the knee, he was a backup quarterback. He had got benched, right?
Mm-hmm.
The starting quarterback, I can't recall who it was, but he was garbage. They put Colin Kaepernick back in the starting lineup, and he won one game and lost the rest. I may be exaggerating with the 1-11, but he won one game and he lost the rest. So that's the Colin Kaepernick that faded out the NFL.
It's so strange that a lot of people constantly discredit Colin Kaepernick.
I don't discredit him. I think that he was who he was, and the NFL figured him out.
You say he faded out the NFL. I don't think any quarterback is necessarily fully figure-outable. I made that word up. Figure-outable. It's not a real word, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is it's just one of those things where Colin Kaepernick, he might have got sat down in the game based on his play, but we had Jim Harbaugh as our coach. Jim Harbaugh vouched for Colin Kaepernick, period. He's not going to bench him. He might have set him down based on gameplay in that particular game, but he came back the next game as a starter. In the end, it was just one of those things where we restructured his contract because that's what he wanted.
Okay, I just looked it up. Colin Kaepernick, 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
He played 12 games. He started 11.
Oh, my gosh.
So that means that the first...
So injuries don't...
hold on, he wasn't injured.
Okay.
He played 12 games. He started 11. His record was 1-10.
What happened to the other...
so I was not wrong. He only won one game.
Oh, the other... Yeah, 5 games.
Hold on, because this why...
Okay,
this why the computer is here.
You the guru, so I'm listening.
But can you stand on the straightening that I was not wrong that he won 1 out of his last 11 games? He was 1-10. That's 1 out of his last 11.
Okay.
So the guru was correct in that.
Is that his last 11, or is that just that season?
Yeah, 2016. That was his last 11 starts.
Don't take 5 games from 2011 or 2015.
No, I was just talking about his last 11 games.
Okay, go ahead.
But you could carry on the conversation while I Google this. Next stat.
My biggest thing is, even then, he had a $121 million contract.
You starting to sound like B. Trot when he talked about Chris Paul was a sure ballot Hall of Famer, so he can't be put on the bench.
Listen, the one thing that we do in this entire process, you the guru, and I respect you as such, but you would not compare me to B. Trot. That is not gonna happen. B. Trotman has some things on his mind, so I understand. B, if you're listening, if you're watching, I love you, and you redeem yourself. We'll keep it at that. But again, you saying that you would rather have Daniel Jones over Colin Kaepernick?
Okay, so look, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Because you're a 49er fan, right? And I don't want to make you look like you don't know your own mob. Like you can't hit me with no Giants facts that I gotta go fact check. Okay, so in 2016, Colin Kaepernick's last year in the NFL, when he decided to take a knee, he was the backup quarterback, right? Chip Kelly was the coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
Who did he
and
back
Chip
up?
Kelly named Blaine Gabbert the starting quarterback over Colin Kaepernick. right? Blaine Gabbert, because I remember if you quote me, I said that the starting quarterback was some trash, right? And he played like some trash. He started the first 4 games of the season. Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee. In the midst of him taking a knee, they say, okay, Colin, you are better than Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert is a bum. I'm going to put you back in the starting quarterback position. And he said, okay, coach, I'm going to reward you by going 1-10 down the stretch. And he'd never seen an NFL field since.
Has it occurred to you that maybe, just maybe,
it was Chip Kelly?
It was Chip Kelly.
That's possible.
So when we put it in the sense of, I'm going to reward you in 1-10, no, maybe Chip Kelly just, his system don't fit what Kaepernick capable of, because if I recall, once again, Colin Kaepernick went to the Super Bowl under Jim Harbaugh.
But do you know how garbage you got to be to come off the bench for
not only that, but Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith went to consistent NFC championships under Jim Harbaugh.
I think you could start over Blaine Gabbert.
Absolutely. I could probably start over Colin Kaepernick too.
Did you even remember that Blaine Gabbert was a 49er?
I didn't like it
because I didn't remember, to be honest. That's why I had to Google it.
It was a bad experience. It was a bad time. We were me and my San Francisco friends. We had to sit in a room and debate on what we could possibly do to try to fix our organization, and unfortunately, didn't go in our favor.
But y'all got it right.
We got it right now.
Eventually.
Absolutely.
But I still think that the Raiders might give him a chance based upon the whole John Gruden,
the political shit
situation, right? So it's all political.
Politics make a difference in sports, that's for sure. I feel like I hope that they do. You know what I'm saying? Because he was blackballed for the wrong reasons.
He was black. He was not blackballed. The man went 1-10 in his last 11 starts.
Listen. We could say that all day long, right? But you know how many quarterbacks is in the league right now that have not been to a Super Bowl?
I get that.
He's been to a Super. He had a 1-10 season once.
I get that. However, the last visual impression that I had of you was 1-10.
How are we not accounting for the other personnel on the team as if he had a ton to work with?
Do you know when they go and they look at win-loss records, the only person who has a win-loss record on the team is the quarterback?
Right, but to a degree,
did you know that?
To a degree, they consider the rest of the team as well.
They don't.
Listen. The one thing about the win-loss record for a quarterback is a quarterback can only do so much.
I agree.
And so because of that by itself, it's one of those things where they are going to account for the personnel that they have. Like for instance, he was on the team that Patrick Willis retired from.
But you can't tell me the win-loss record of any running back or wide receiver because they don't really record that. They don't care. The only person who has a win-loss record that's recorded is the quarterback. And the last visual of Colin Kaepernick was 1-10 in his last 11 starts.
All I know is Colin Kaepernick he's in the record books. He has
in the record books for what?
He had the most rushing yards against in the playoffs by a quarterback. Period. He had 180 rushing yards against Green Bay in the snow.
Do we got some confetti effects to pop for being the most rushing yards as a quarterback?
You asked that answer. That's all I can do.
And thank you. But I'm asking the producer, do we got some confetti to pop for the great Colin Kaepernick being the most rushing yards as a quarterback in the playoffs?
At the end of the day,
I have to fact
is
check
equivalent to saying that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer.
Eli Manning got 2 Super Bowl rings. How many does Colin Kaepernick have?
Do that make him a Hall of Famer?
How many does Colin Kaepernick have?
Here we go. Do that make him a Hall of Famer? You can talk about
listen, now. Me, the man took his glasses off.
You know how many players got Super Bowl rings?
Not two Super Bowl MVPs.
Jimmy Garoppolo got a Super Bowl ring too.
Not 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
What that mean? What does that mean?
How many snaps did Jimmy G take in that Super Bowl?
Don't Julian Edelman got a Super Bowl MVP?
Not 2 of them.
What that mean exactly?
Eli got 2 of them.
Listen. Julian Edelman can't throw the ball to himself.
So are you debating that Julian
And
Edelman didn't play with the greatest quarterback of all time?
Eli had 2 of the luckiest passes
Are we
of all
back
time.
on Julian Edelman? Are we back on Eli Manning's lucky passes?
I mean, it happens, right?
Hey, man.
Is Eli a Hall of Famer, though?
That's up to the voters. I say
I'm asking
Eli
you.
Manning is the greatest Giants quarterback of all time.
Yeah, see, there you go. Hey, now you see people, the delusion that takes
He's
place.
the greatest Giant quarterback of all time. What's delusion about that?
Oh, no, I think Phil Simms might be.
Man, stop it.
I'm just saying.
Phil Simms played on the team with Lawrence Taylor, Pepper Johnson, and Carl Banks.
Okay, if that's because Eli played on a team with Plesko Burris and Mario Manningham and and a bunch of lucky catches, because he literally had a ton of
Did you
lucky
just name
catches.
those guys in the same breath as Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks and
That's
Pepper
not
Johnson?
a comparison. Let check yourself
Please,
for your
come
record.
on, brother.
You know goodness well that I'm not saying that. I wouldn't put Eli in the same conversation as Lawrence Taylor. Let alone
I wouldn't put
Plesko
nobody
Burris and
in the
Mario
same
Manningham,
conversation with Lawrence Taylor.
I'm just saying
Not no 49er except maybe Jerry Rice.
Patrick Willis there. Is he not?
In the same conversation with Lawrence Taylor.
It's a conversation.
No, it's not.
That's what conversations
I would get
are.
up and walk out this studio if you mentioned Patrick Willis in the same conversation with Lawrence Taylor.
Well, listen, we all know Lawrence Taylor was doing lines.
I don't give a damn how many lines he was doing. He was destroying offensive lines.
Right, because of the
I know
lines.
that.
If he want to do lines, you don't think he'd
Hey
be
man,
strong?
whatever gets you by.
I get it though. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I was a Giants fan in my head at one point in time in life. That's like my second team. You know, when they had like, was it O.J. Anderson?
I wish my godson Duda was here right now to witness this historic moment. You know, because
oh man,
me and my host has been related all of our lives, and I've never heard this story about him being a Giants fan. I was never a 49er fan.
I was again, everybody got their team, and then you got a team that you support. And at one point, the Giants was a team that I supported. You know what I'm saying?
Do you want to hear a story about who my original team was?
Who's your original team?
The Chicago Bears.
How the fuck does that work?
I was the biggest. I was big on defenses.
Okay.
Right? So the Chicago Bears was my original team. The only team that's been my team the whole time is the New York Yankees, right?
Okay.
I was a Chicago Bears and a Detroit Piston fan.
You was a Detroit Pistons
I love defense.
fan.
Like I love
God.
defense. I loved everything about Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumas, Vinny Johnson, Dennis Rodman, Bill Lambie. I love the bad boys, right? And I love the 85 Bears defense. You talking about prior to me turning 9 years old. You know, I've been watching sports my whole life.
Preteen.
Right?
I get it.
No, double digits. I was 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. I love these teams, right?
Okay.
When I was playing rec football, my coach said, you need to watch Lawrence Taylor, man. You kind of remind me of him. What the tenacity and your aggressiveness and the way you get after it. So I started watching them, and I started liking the Giants. And I made all my teams New York-based teams based upon, everybody had teams all over the world.
Okay.
Like B. Trotman had the Chicago Bulls, the Atlanta Braves, the North Carolina Tar Heels, and the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm like, how is all your teams spread out all across the world?
All over the place.
I say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make all my team based around the Yankees and now the Giants. So that's how I became a Knicks fan and New York Ranger fan and et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, gotcha. Well, look, let's take a break really quick. We got some more NFL coming up, and we'll be back. Bet More Sports. Welcome back to the Bet More Sports Podcast. We are coming at you again from Norfolk, Virginia, the Bet More Sports Studios. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Stephen Troutman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
Yes, sir. And we are still on this NFL conversation. Let's talk about the Pro Bowl. They are talking about eliminating the Pro Bowl and taking it out of the NFL overall. What you think about that?
I haven't watched a full Pro Bowl game since the 90s.
Okay.
And this is 2022.
So I'm a video game player. You know what I'm saying? I know you are too, and to me,
I'm one of the greatest video game players ever to play video games.
I love it. I think the thing that the Pro Bowl brings is that video game element. The biggest problem in it is that they don't play like you would want them to play. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But I feel like it still brings something to the table. It shows, it humanizes the players, and it puts them in a position where you can look at them and say, you know what, they're just having a good time. You know, it's like an all-star weekend in the NBA, or
that too is watered down.
To a degree, yeah. But the only reason that I feel like it's watered down is because there's only so much you can do. You know what I'm saying? Slam dunk contest used to be crazy, but how many more dunks you got? You got to do dunks out of this world for people to really take your dunk seriously, and
because you done pretty much seen everything.
Right, exactly, and that's where the unfairness in that prospect come in. You know, when you gotta be astronomical in order to stand out. You know, over something that's supposed to be fun, that's where it becomes a problem. But I feel like the Pro Bowl is the only reason. The biggest reason why the Pro Bowl is watered down is because nobody is playing to win.
No, the reason why it's watered down because it's no longer competitive. Like, it's basically touch football.
Exactly, and it's nothing fun about watching that
literally, it's touch football. They're not even hitting. They're not even wrapping up. They're just thudding.
Exactly.
It's like practice.
That's kind of boring
when you can't tackle a person to the ground.
And it's players.
I understand.
It's players like what's his name from the Redskins when he played Sean.
Exactly. That was my last. I didn't watch that whole game, but that was my last. Like, he hit the punter.
He crushed
like
it.
I'm not out here to play.
Right. Exactly.
This is a full contact sport, and I'm playing it to the fullest.
And then I feel like the Pro Bowl is after the season. So if you in the Pro Bowl and you playing the game, you should play hard because, you know, even if you get injured, which don't know I want to get injured, but even if you do, you got time to rehab to a degree, depending on the injury. I just know that that game can be so much more exciting,
right?
If they put the energy into it and they try their best not to. And it's not like the players that's in it is playing in the Super Bowl,
right?
You might as well put the energy into it and make it a competitive game and give people something to look forward to.
Right. You playing a full speed game at half speed. I can't get it.
Hell, even the NBA All-Star game get intense close to the end of the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's different, but I get it. It's football. It's a contact sport. You know, it's easy to get injured. And when you're playing with the best, the results generally lead to, you know, somebody not feeling the best at the end of the game. But still, it's a reason that you accepted that invite. And if you don't want to play, don't accept it. Let one of these other hungry players that want it come in and play and make it competitive, because football is competition. And when you play in a game and it's not competitive, that make it boring.
I totally agree. So that's why I'm not totally against them removing it.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great weekend, just like the NBA All-Star weekend. But they should maybe not remove it, but make it better. Add more to it. For instance, the NBA All-Star weekend, they got celebrity games. You know what I'm saying? They got skills training. And
They
all
added
this
a bunch of that foolishness to the Pro Bowl too. They got skill challenges and all that, but I just think that the overall game is the NBA games. You still get highlights. The NFL game, you don't even get highlights because there's no tackling, so it's not like you get the excitement of the game.
That's the downside. The lack.
People are literally playing half speed in a full speed game.
I bet if the NFL say something like, "We got $1 million for the MVP,"
or "We got $1 million for the winning team,"
right? They'll put forth that maximum effort at that point.
Right, but that was kind of what Vince Carter said about the slam dunk contest. If you gave the slam dunk winner $1 million, then everybody sign up.
Yep.
Literally. And you will have all the greatest dunkers in the NBA signing up to win that $1 million, but the chances of that happening is slim to none.
Yeah. So, I saw a picture of Dak Prescott and Deebo Samuel and CeeDee Lamb and Deebo Samuel, and somebody posted on Twitter that was like, "Deebo Samuel, you are Dallas Cowboys." I told y'all before. I'm tell you again. Deebo not going nowhere.
Don't get the Cowboy fans. They will get overly excited.
Easy. Cowboys fans retarded.
All they need to hear is Deebo and Dallas in the same sentence.
They both start with a D.
They don't want to hear that it was Deebo destroyed Dallas in the playoffs. If they hear Deebo and Dallas in the same sentence, they're going to get excited.
Listen, they can hear D'Lo Brown from WWE in the sentence with Dallas, and they get excited thinking it's Deebo. All I know is he ain't going nowhere. They're not going to trade him. Let it go. At the end of the day, they feel like I would rather have him play this year and not get nothing back for him in the end than to give him away for no reason. I don't blame him. Hell, he might play this year and do so well that he say, "Yo, I want to stay." If he do, he do. If he don't, he don't. I could care less at this point. All I know is no team is stable. Everybody's going to change every year. But this year, we are a really good team, and we should definitely do whatever we can to keep them. So, with that said, Deebo, sit your ass down. Anyway.
Y'all a really good team.
Absolutely. We got top 5 defense, top 5 offensive line. Do you disagree?
All around the world,
do you
the
need
same
to fact
song.
check me?
No. Hey, look. Do you need to fact check this? That Trey Lance is the odds-on favorite to win the NFL MVP this year.
Hey. Sometimes it stands out when somebody else say it.
Are you gonna put your money on Trey Lance to win the MVP?
No chance.
You got good odds.
I put my money on Jimmy Garoppolo if I put it on Trey Lance. Straight up. But somebody did say that. That means that somebody really feel like
these people are betting more money that Trey Lance wins the MVP over Aaron Rodgers
and Tom Brady. Hey,
somebody knows more than the guru, man. Hey, look, whoever out there knows more than the guru, please get with me, man, because I could use another great handicapper in the Bet More Sports camp, man. If you feel like Trey Lance is the odds-on favorite to win the NFL MVP,
I tell you one thing.
Come join the team. I need you.
Absolutely. I need you too. Shit, where you at? Come on through here, because I can tell you right now, if Trey Lance play an MVP level career,
y'all a Super Bowl contender.
It's easy. And not only that, but he's a Hall of Famer instantly.
Instantly.
Bro,
I'm trying to figure out if you and all the 49er fans, Travis and Rodney and
Jamal.
John A. Jamal, if y'all done collectively put y'all money together to bet that Trey Lance win the MVP and made this man the odds-on favorite. I couldn't believe it when I seen it. And this is real. This is something you can look up and find out that Trey Lance is being bet on more than Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady to win the NFL MVP.
That is amazing. And I'm a 49er fan, but that's some bullshit. No lie. That is bull. In other news, Deshawn Watson is back. Roger Goodell stated that the investigation regarding him and pretty much his punishment is coming soon. What you think of the circumstance overall where he was not found guilty in a court of law, but the NFL is still investigating to find out if he violated pretty much the personal conduct policy? I feel like if the law didn't find him guilty,
Roger Goodell is the law in the NFL. If you haven't noticed, like it's a lot of times where players don't get convicted or players don't get charged within the legal system, and Roger Goodell still punishes them. However, I feel like leave Deshaun Watson alone, man. The man already didn't play last year.
Yeah.
Like, leave the man alone.
I heard that one of the alleged victims in the entire experience had something to say about him getting a $230 million contract with the Browns, as if his life is supposed to be over.
She wanted a $230 million contract with the Browns?
No. She has a problem with him.
That's why I'm saying that she want the $230. She feel like she should have got the $230 million contract with the Browns. Is that what that has to be her argument? Does she feel like she needed it?
She said it's despicable.
Why?
And my thing is like, yeah, exactly. Why? Like, you should be happy because you might get a good chunk of that in your settlement.
But you probably won't.
If you do, you probably won't. But if
however,
you do,
the man didn't do anything, in my opinion, to violate the personal conduct code.
Right.
Because it was not like he forcibly forced himself upon nobody.
Right.
And y'all know who I am. This is what I want. Yay or nay?
Right. And not only that, but most of them came back again.
Of course they would, because he paying.
Exactly. So clearly, if you got a problem with that, then you, in my opinion, you're admitting to prostitution.
That's what it sounds like.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he paying, so you gonna keep coming back, even though you saying that you're uncomfortable. I mean, if I'm uncomfortable, I ain't coming back. It's not an option.
Not at all.
It's weird. Then
it's uncomfortable to the check cleared for him. Once the check cleared, then it won't uncomfortable no longer. That's why, hey, can you write that check again?
And I seen one person actually crying on TV. Like, bro, you was crying. Was you crying when you cashed that check?
Not at all.
Of course not.
Was you crying when you gave that happy ending?
Whoop whoop whoop. All right, so listen. All right, so let's switch gears. MLB Yankees third baseman Josh Donaldson. He got a 1-game suspension for calling Tim Anderson Jackie, and that is in reference to him. Tim Anderson indicated in 2019 that he wanted to be the next Jackie Robinson, and Josh Donaldson, in regards, indicated that he used to joke with him and call him Jackie. And now they're on different teams, and they don't really hang out. And he called him Jackie in the game, and Tim Anderson took it personally, as if Josh Donaldson was trying to be racist. Guru, share your thoughts.
Everything is not about race.
Exactly. Just because a white person is a black person.
A European calling you Jackie Robinson doesn't make him racist.
That is so funny.
It doesn't make him racist. Like
it don't.
He didn't call you Negro Jackie Robinson.
He didn't call you Kunta Kinte.
He didn't call you Jackie Robinson the Coon. He just called you Jackie Robinson. It might have been a joke because he feel like you are not on Jackie Robinson's level.
Right.
But that doesn't make him a racist. And I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm not a huge Josh Donaldson fan, even though I love what he's doing with the Yankees. right? But you know, Josh Donaldson is the same one who threw Garrett Cole under the bus prior to him coming to the Yankees. Another one that is not of Asiatic descent, but of European descent. So he called his own a cheater.
European descent.
He called his own a cheater, right? And he called you Jackie Robinson. Yet you're mad,
right?
And the Major League Baseball Association suspended Josh Donaldson for calling the brother Jackie Robinson or Jackie.
And not to mention that the dude Tim Anderson, he actually came out his mouth during a Sports Illustrated interview and said, "I want to be the next Jackie Robinson."
And he wanted to fight. Like, the bench is cleared and everything.
Makes zero sense. I think it's just something personal, in my opinion. I feel like it's something personal to where Tim Anderson may have had a personal vendetta with Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson got under his skin, and then he took it public.
Right.
It makes zero sense. Now, of course, if they're not friends or whatever, that's perfectly fine. But even to that point, I don't seem to understand how race played a factor in this. You had a white man calling a black man another black man. Even if you look at it from the black and white perspective, where's it? Like, where's? And he ain't just. It wasn't just a white man calling a black man another black man. It was a white man calling a black man a pioneer of the sport in which both the white man and the black man is playing.
He act like he called him Jack A off 227.
Jack A off 227. That's so funny.
Man, that's some bullshit, man. They suspended my man. We lost a couple games behind that because Josh Donaldson bet was popping at the time. Like, my man was hitting everything that came across the plate.
Yeah, has he hit the field since?
I haven't seen him.
Golly.
Honestly, but I
the
think
word
it's
is
some
so
bullshit.
sensitive, man. I
The
just
word
don't
is
get it.
Super sensitive.
It's as if we're looking for a reason to be sensitive or looking for ways to be sensitive.
And everything is race oriented in this sensitive world.
Easy.
Like, everything has to do with race. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, man. But while we so worried about something as minor as Josh Donaldson calling Tim Anderson Jackie, it's 19 kids and 2 adults being killed at Robb Elementary School in Texas.
Absolutely.
So, I think it's just one of those things where people need to wake up. People need to stop taking the things that they are taking personally as personal as they taking it and focus on what really matters.
What's really going on.
Exactly.
It's a lot that's really going on. And not only that, the situation that occurred in Buffalo.
Absolutely.
Where a guy just walked into a grocery store and gunned down innocent people because of how he viewed them from a racial standpoint.
It's weird. I was looking at a video that showed him in the process of shooting these people. He had a camera on his helmet.
It looked like Call of Duty.
Exactly. And he stumbled across a white guy that was balled up, scared to death, like he was about to get shot. He pointed a gun at him, and then he looked at him and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he kept going and looked for more black people.
But we talking about Josh Donaldson calling somebody Jackie.
A pioneer in the sport of baseball
who
opened the door for all black people. It's just so weird that is a problem versus what we really got
and
going.
They got a man suspended from the game of baseball.
And not only that, but that suspension kind of insinuates guilt, as if my man is a racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't look at Josh Donaldson as a racist by calling another black man a black man. It's weird that people take things so far and create so much, so many issues behind stuff that don't matter. Like, bruh, you kind of diminishing the whole movement. Like, if you really think about it, because like you made a big deal out of this. Like, my man called you the N-word.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now people are gonna look like, yo, this is what's happening. This is the problem, because people are acting as if we saying the N-word and we not. I called you Jackie, bruh. Call me Jackie. If I could play and get paid what you getting paid, call me Jackie.
Just don't call me Jackie.
But
my grandma used to say, man, like, these are praying times that we living in, man, honestly.
100%.
Because we are focused on the wrong things. It's a lot going on that we should really focus on and we need to address.
100%. And if we don't address them, these life cycles are going to consistently repeat itself, and we're going to end up on the short end of the stick. So I think we need to start taking the time to look at things that are petty as petty and move beyond the political side of things.
And that was petty.
Absolutely. All right, with that said, let's take a break. We got all types of stuff coming up. We got some more boxing. Javante Davis is fighting this weekend, so you better tune in. And with that said,
we also got the Carolina Panthers getting swept.
Yes, the Panthers did get swept.
Well, not the Carolina Panthers. Excuse me. The Florida Panthers.
The Florida Panthers. They got swept, and it's a story behind that. So we'll talk about that when we come back. Bet More Sports. We'll be back. Peace. Welcome back to the Bet More Sports Podcast. We are coming at you from Norfolk, Virginia, the Bet More Sports Studios. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, with my co-host, Stephen Trotman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
It's the Guru in the building, and you better believe, log into www.betmoresports.com to find out the Guru's top picks of the day every day. So if you got questions, comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. But we here, and the one thing that we got that you don't is the Guru. With that said, let's keep it moving. At the end of the day, we want to talk about a little bit of NHL. The Florida Panthers team was swept. They were swept. And one of the biggest things that stood out about them getting swept is that these guys was at the strip club till 3 o'clock in the morning, the day before the game in which they got swept. Guru, let me know what you thinking, my bro.
Down 0-3.
0-3.
In the state of Florida. Strippers everywhere. Make it rain. You playing a 2-time defending champs. You know you're going to get swept. I knew they was going to get swept after I picked Florida to win the second game and they got their ass kicked. Right? After that, Tampa.
Clearly, they knew they was going to get swept. They was like, look.
Why not? Celebrate.
If we going to go out, let's go out with a bang.
In style.
And they damn sure went out with a bang. They say, forget it.
Only thing they was missing was Deshawn Watson.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God.
You would have really showed them how to get it done.
That is deep, bro. That is deep. Hey, I'm with it, though. Hey, shout out to the Florida Panthers, man. I'm glad y'all enjoyed yourself that night.
Shout out Florida Panthers, man. And shout out Deshaun Watson, man. You should have went down there and showed them boys how it's really done.
Showed them what it was all
when
about.
you making it rain.
Make it rain, Trick. Make it
But
rain.
do you think Tampa Bay gonna three-peat?
That's what it's looking like. That's what it's leaning towards. Like, to be honest, I feel like at this point, they built for this.
You know, that was my pick to win the Stanley Cup. Other than the New York Rangers, we looking pretty good.
That's a dynasty in the making, it looks like.
Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Or the New York Rangers?
Definitely not the Rangers. But we
looking good, though. 2-2.
Y'all looking good, but is y'all going to look good against Tampa Bay? That's the question.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Hey, but we'll find out. That's for sure. We'll find out. Listen, one thing that's coming up this weekend that I love, that I'm a big fan of, that I keep in mind, that I gotta pay close attention to is boxing. Gervonta Davis is fighting this weekend against Rolando Romero, and they've been talking big shit for the last, since December. They've been talking so much trash to each other. And as we know, Tank Davis planned to leave Floyd's Mayweather promotion after this fight. How you think this fight gonna go? We had a good conversation last week about boxing, right? We was talking about overrated, underrated.
Yeah, give me Tank under 8.
Ooh, Tank in the under, and
Tank,
8.
Tank under 8. Tank, it would not go 9 rounds.
Listen, I don't know whether y'all just realized this or not, but the guru just provided y'all with some valuable insight.
Free money.
Free money, Tank and under 8. Listen, if you take the guru advice and you bet Tank and under 8, I'm gonna need you to send the guru a couple of dollars.
No, don't even send me a couple of dollars. Just subscribe to the Bet More Sports YouTube channel. That's all I ask.
That's all.
Give me Tank Davis
and under 8.
Under 8. Like, it will not go 9 rounds. Take it 8.5. If the line is 8.5, take it under 8.5. It won't go 9 rounds.
Hey, he the guru for the reason. So, Tank Davis also stated in the media to Devin Haney, he said, if you win your next fight, I want you next. Which, that's a need for boxing.
I need to see that.
Boxing need that to happen. So, I definitely hope Devin Haney take it serious enough to win his next fight, which his next fight is against George Kambosos. And if he win that fight, he has the ability to unify the division. And so, because he just beat Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez and got all his belts that he got from that he combined with Vasily Lomachenko. So Teofimo Lopez got all the belts, and then he lost all the belts to George Kambosos, and now Kambosos is fighting Devin Haney for all the belts. And if Devin Haney win that fight, I can see why Gervonta Davis like, I want to fight you next if you win this fight.
I'm coming for all the belts.
I want all the belts. Everybody want to be a part of that crew. You know what I'm saying? That Bud Crawford crew.
Bud Crawford ain't a part of that crew yet.
What you mean? Bud Crawford has already won all those belts. And then he left the division and moved up.
We talking about again.
Oh, he gonna do it again.
We gonna see.
All he gotta do is be that Texas boy. And you better believe, hey, one thing I can say, Bud Crawford ain't no easy win.
Earl Spence coming tipping on 4-4.
He can tip on 4-4s all day. He gonna tip over. He keep messing with Bud. So Bud got them hands, man.
I can't wait to see that one though.
Me either. Also,
but I want to see Tank and Devin Haney too.
I'm looking forward to. Listen, can you imagine a fight card that got all of them on the same card? I know it'll never happen.
It won't happen
because that's just
everybody
so
want to be the biggest draw,
and that's so much money. When you know how much money they'll lose if they put all of them on the same card when they can have them all on their own individual cards. And September 17th, it's been announced that it's gonna be a trilogy. Canelo, Triple G, 3. I love it. I'm a big fan of it because number one, Canelo's coming off a loss. He don't lose often. This is his second loss in his career. And then you got Triple G, who's just been beating people up. And while he's at the higher end of his prime, it's still always a good fight when they fighting. So I'm definitely looking forward to that fight. I'm looking forward to this weekend for sure because Tank need to knock boy out. He don't knock a boy out. Hard take him serious. And Devin Haney, truthfully, I want to see that fight because Devin Haney is he's undefeated, but I just don't know. I don't feel like anybody has really tested Devin's chin, and Tank will test his chin.
He's gonna test his chin.
So
his body, his jaw,
yep,
and everything else.
I also heard Shakur Stevenson stepping in there and kind of yapping at Tank. And I feel like even then, Shakur Stevenson, he's not a small fighter, but
wait your turn, Bucko.
Wait your turn, 100%.
Wait your turn.
You said that as perfect as it get, Guru. That's why I appreciate you, because a lot of times you come in here, you say some shit right on time. That is just exactly what he need to do. He need to wait his turn, because if he don't, he gonna get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, wait your turn, Bucko. Your turn gonna come.
It's going to definitely come. So, hey, tune in May 28th, this upcoming weekend. We got Gervonta Davis versus Rolando Romero. And then the following weekend, we got George Kambosos versus Devin Haney. Both of them are 12 rounds. Both of them are for, the first fight is for Tank Davis's WBA regular lightweight. And the Kambosos fight is for the undisputed lightweight. So, at the end of the day, it's definitely something to tune into, and it's definitely something to look forward to. With that said, hey, we got another segment coming up, a new segment that we got, and it's called 1 to 3. Who you got? First and foremost, let's get this party started from the gate.
Pick in order too. We don't want them any order. They have to be in order.
100%. That means who is number 1, who is number 2, and who is number 3. And first off, in the GOAT debate, we talking about GOATs. This is who we got. First and foremost, take a look. We got LeBron, dog. Next up, Kobe, dog. And last but not least, MJZ. Who you got, Guru? Kobe, LeBron, Jordan. Give me your order.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
He put LeBron at number 3. I know this generation is not going to agree, but
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Listen, I second it. I concur. I can't even give a pick because he gave my pick for me. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. I agree 100%. You can give a pick.
You can agree with the Guru.
Listen, I get the Guru credit where the Guru gets it. It is what it is. But Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Plain and simple. Kobe don't cry. LeBron cry a lot. Next up, we got big man in the game. The big man in the game will include the Dream. And we're going to mix the Dream with a little bit of Big Shaq Diesel and Kareem, dog. Guru, let me know what you got.
This is going to sound crazy because, right, I feel like Shaq was the most dominant big man to ever play the game. I feel like Lou Alcindor turned Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got the most accolades.
Okay. I can see that.
From the beginning of his basketball career to the end of his basketball career. And I feel like the Dream dominated Shaq in an era when they both played each other. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be hard for me to put Shaq first.
Okay.
But I got to go Shaq, Kareem, Dream.
Oh, my God. You threw me, bro. You literally threw me for a loop, right? Because I wasn't expecting you to pick Shaq first. Straight up.
He's the most dominant big man that ever played the game. And I watched a lot of Shaq. I got to go Shaq, Kareem, and the Dream.
And it's crazy because, again, while I don't want to agree with this guy, I have to because I ask myself questions like, okay, Lou Alcindor was a dominant big man, right? But can you imagine him trying to guard Shaq? If you ask yourself if Lou Alcindor guarded Shaq, how many times would Shaq dunk on his skinny ass? And just to be honest,
time and time again,
it would just be big bully in the paint. And Hakeem played an essential role into Shaq's growth because he took advantage of Shaq when he was young.
Dogged him.
You know what I'm saying? But at the time that Shaq was young, Hakeem was established. He was in his prime, and that made a substantial difference. But I feel like if the Dream would have got the Lakers Shaq, he would have got a different type of Shaq.
He would have got dogged too, probably.
So my choice is Shaq, Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem, and the Dream. So once again, as much as I hate to say it, I got to say it, I agree with the Guru. And then last but not least, we're going to focus on a little different aspect. We ain't going to talk about the skill set we're going to talk about the skill set, but we're not going to talk about the position per se. We're going to talk about the number. The best player to wear number 3. Who we got? Let's start with this guy. 757's own Allen Iverson.
Bubba Chuck.
Bubba. Then we got Miami Heat's own Dwyane Wade. And last but not least, this guy's still playing today. And he's probably one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game.
That's B. Trotman favorite player.
Based on the last podcast.
He was his defensive turn in the last podcast.
Definitely.
If you didn't catch it.
CP3. So you got CP3, AI, and Dwyane Wade. Guru, give me your list.
It's kind of crazy because you put them in order. Iverson, Wade, CP3.
Oh, shit. Damn, I can't win for losing with the Guru. Every single time, bro. Listen, I don't want this to be the case.
Iverson, Wade, CP3.
I picked Allen Iverson not because he's from the 757, but because he had the biggest heart of any NBA player I've ever seen in my life. He's one of the only players I've seen hit the ground possibly 85 to 90% of the time in which he shot the ball. Number 2, I picked Dwyane Wade because Dwyane Wade, at one point in his career, whether you realize it or not, he was completely unstoppable.
A killer.
You could not stop Dwyane Wade in a game. And then Chris Paul, listen, some people might wonder why Chris Paul is even in this conversation. It's because Chris Paul is dominant in a way that don't apply to a lot of teams now. Chris Paul is dominant mentally. He is probably one of the smartest NBA players to play the game, and because he's so smart, he was able to take every team that he's played for to the playoffs at least once. And so with that said, I have to once again, for the 3rd time in a row, I need to go and check myself into agreeing with Guru. Rehab. Listen, it's AI, it's Dwyane Wade, and then it's CP3.
It's simple.
Plain and simple.
A lot of people won't agree.
It's a lot of people that won't agree, and at this point, I have to. So, facts is facts, and it is what it is. But, all in all of them are, in my opinion, GOATs at their position.
Absolutely.
And all of them made a substantial presence and a substantial impact on the way the game is played and on the game itself. So it is what it is. So with that said, let's take a break and let's come back with the last thing of the day. And you know what that is. It's the Guru's pick of the day.
You don't want to miss it.
Don't want to miss it. Most of us will be back. Peace. And now it is time for the Guru's pick of the day.
The Guru's pick of the day, I already gave it to you. Tank Davis to win under 9 rounds. Take everything you can beg, borrow, and steal and put it on Tank Davis to win in under 9 rounds. It won't go 9 rounds. Take it 8.5 and under.
And with that said, that's the game. You just got big game from the Guru. He told you.
Free game
and
gave
he
you
was
2 picks.
clearly clear on that ish there. Tank Davis under 9 rounds. Bet it. I'm gonna bet it. So
It's the 11th episode. The Guru's pick of the day is 9-2.
you better believe it. Hey,
9 wins and 2 losses.
9-2.
That's not
like
bad.
75-80% when you think about it. You might want to pay attention. With that said, hey, that's the end of the show for the week. And next week, we got so much to bring to the table. And I'm going to be broadcasting live and direct from the Bahamas, baby. So, with that said, hey, thank y'all for tuning in to the Bet More Sports Podcast. We appreciate y'all. Again, our hearts go out to every family that is impacted by the loss of the 19 kids and 2 adults at the Rye Elementary School in Texas. Again, let's make some change. Let's focus on change. Bring Brittany Griner home. And
Please.
with that being said, Bet More Sports, we out. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Till next time.
Oh, yeah.